everybody, and welcome to Barovian Nights. We are not at our normal day and time because life hates me and emotional problems are what I have. But I'm okay now, or at least better than I was. And so we are going to try to get a little session in from Group Two's group. We tried earlier for Session 1, but all the players were not feeling so hot at that time, so we decided to just wait until next time around. But we're getting something in for Session 2, so that's nice. Yeah, so last time on Curse of Strahd, Barovian Nights, the team was having a boys' night that ended very poorly, which resulted in the first character death of the group. Um, so currently, the entirety of the group is rushing to where they saw that the church of the town was. Lucius, with the body of Nocturna, kind of slung over their back or side or carried bridal style. I forget exactly how it went. Mourning the loss of their waifu. And everybody's running to the church trying to see if they can find a priest who can cast Revivify in time. He has been gentle reposed by Lily, who did that as soon as she came to. So everybody's very
Or
hopeful. Sorry?
wasn't that Wilhelmina that gentle reposed?
Nope.
Nope, that was Lily.
Oh, okay.
Wilhelmina can
I
cast
bet.
Spare the Dying, but that only works on people who aren't dead yet. Um,
I bet.
yeah.
I didn't get there in time.
Yeah,
I feel like Lucius was carrying him bridal style.
probably. That seems more dramatic anyway, so we're gonna say that that's what was happening. Um, so as you guys were running up to the church, Lily was rushing ahead just to try to warn people about what was happening. And as you were running, Lucius heard a voice calling out, Father, please let me out. I'm so hungry. And Galen heard a muffled yelling noise but could not make out the words. Lily was too frantically worried about Nocturna, who can no longer be called Wolf Boy, um, that she was just not listening, even as close as she was. So, Lily, as you run up to the church, I'm just going to move everybody over to a new screen real quick after I do the dungeon fog for it. Okay, cool. Here we go. And a players. So as you guys run up the staircase, you notice that this particular pathway is trodden by many feet on a daily basis, and even though the grass and the overgrowth looks sickly from either side, this is a place that people do come to visit on a pretty regular basis in most cases. And I get everybody to roll me a perception check.
Do those from me and Lucius.
Yep. Perception for Lucius. Perception for Galen.
Oh, there I am.
There you are.
Okay, got it.
Alright, Galen is a little bit too worried about not tripping over the next stone in the path to notice much of anything of importance. Lily, you notice as you're rushing up the stairs that the doors are already partway open. Um, Everybody else can notice that though the path is well trodden, the church itself looks almost desolate in nature. The the windows, some of which are either broken or boarded up, the steps leading up laced with cracks, the doors looking quite old and downtrodden, much like a lot of the buildings in this area, just completely misused for the most part. Lily, you're the first one up the steps. What are you doing?
He sort of knocks and also yells, knock, 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 and also yells. So she's like, knock, 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 literally saying knock, knock, knock while knocking, and says, "Excuse me, does anybody here can help us? I got a friend who needs revivifying," and is like prying open the door and knocking and screaming, and also I have a friend who looks like a lizard, but he's fine. Anybody here to help?
So, as you grab for the doors, they pull open quite easily with a long groaning creak because they are already partially open. And you find yourself peering into the old wooden floor of this church. It is well swept for the most part. You can see several doors to either side of you leading off to the sides of the hall. And just before you, in the interior that is lit only dimly by the outside light of this overcast day and or evening, you are really not sure. Um, you can see what looks like a stone altar with a large crack running through the center, and the what looks like it might be a bell pull hanging just behind it, just by peering in the door. And as you call out inside, um, with a 13, you don't see too much, but you do hear what sounds like sort of the clinking of metal on metal from somewhere to your right.
Excuse me, is anybody here that can help? And she's gonna kind of come in and look around.
All right, what's everybody else doing?
Uh, I feel like Lucius would be rushing up to the doorway. I f- would he be panicked? I feel like he's panicked right now.
I feel like he's probably panicked.
And now even extra concerned because he hears this little voice of a little girl.
Not a little girl.
Oh, it sounded like I thought it was. My bad. Or a girl's voice, right?
Nope.
Boy's voice? Child's voice? Man's voice?
Young man's voice, it sounded like.
Ah. So a young man's voice, and oh, excuse me. It's like, and considering he sees that it's like abandoned, he is going to say to Lily, I don't know, Lily. I don't know if anyone's in here, but I think, well, I don't think anyone from the church is in here, but it sounds like someone needs help. But if we're lucky, maybe they could help Nocturna.
Lily just kind of screams, "Hello!"
And as you scream, and Paige is about to peer into the room where the clinking can be heard from the metal on metal. You do hear what sounds like somebody taking a deep sniffling breath Oh, I'm sorry, my children. Yeah, one moment. Uh, and then you hear the creak and groan of what sounds like a wooden bench being pushed back, and from this room right here trundles out a an older looking gentleman, balding at the top of his head, in a simple brown robe tied around the middle, with what looks like a length of a simple rope, and he is wringing his hands lightly. There are red circles around his eyes. He looks like he has not slept in days. And his cheekbones are a bit sunken and not, you're not entirely sure he's been eating or drinking properly either. Apologies. What is it that I may do for you? He says as I try to find the token that I had for him.
Lily points to Knock Knock and is like, he got hurted real bad and needs revivifying. And also, he, and points to Lucy, is a friend, so don't be afraid of him, but can you help Knock Knock?
I, I, I'm sorry. What? And he looks forth between all of you to in what looks like kind of tired confusion. Oh dear! And he kind of starts a little bit at the sight of Lucius.
Lucy is a friend, and Knock Knock got hurt. Can you help him? And
I
points to Nocturne, and is kind of like pulling his cape, or does he have a cape? In the picture, it looks like he has a cape. It's like pulling on his clothing, and it's like, this one!
uh, yeah, I will certainly do my best. Please come this way. And he motions you over towards this other door over here on the side. Um, and quickly moves inside, lighting a candle. It looks like a very simple room with an old worn bed. The cover lit, while definitely clean and washed, has seen better days. It has patches in several places. But the pillow is fluffed nicely, and the room does not smell of the kind of rotten decay one would expect in such a forlorn looking church. Lighting a candle, he motions to the bed for you to lay Nocturne out upon it to see if there's anything he can assist with. Have we still lost a Rob?
Alright, he will carry Nocturna over there then. No, I'm here. Oh, I
Okay.
can't move Nocturna though.
Okay, sorry. I will
You
move.
can hear me, right?
Yes, I
Yes.
can now.
Okay.
Also, Paige did try to provide some more information, because Lily is not very good at explaining things.
Paige says he will perish without the aid of an individual who can bring one back from the brink. Paige attempts to help explain.
I am just gonna stay in the hallway and keep an eye on things.
Alrighty. Apologies, I'm just trying to find the token I had chosen for him.
Yeah, Grayson just kind of stays near the entrance, letting them do their thing and just kind of keeping an eye out.
Gallant, does he hear the voice he heard earlier?
You have not heard it since the first time.
Okay.
Now, since Lily didn't hear it, of course, but did it sound like to Lucy and Gallon that it came from the church or came from somewhere else?
It sounded like it came from the church.
Okay.
Oh, I need to set up my thing.
Do, do, do. Apologies, I should have been more prepared for this.
We were talkings.
We were. But I had a person that I decided would be the token. It's one of the free asset tokens. I'm just trying to find them. I think it was that guy. He's not balding, but he will do.
I mean, he could say he's balding.
We are
'Cause
gonna say he's balding. Alright, so he moves over to Nocturna, looking at him with some concern, especially due to the odd shifting of the features upon his face. He reaches out to touch him and then kind of yanks his hand back just a little bit, looking over his shoulder at the looming dragonborn, and is like, "Apologies, but what what happened to him? What occurred?"
pumpkin, he tried eating his soul, and then we killed the pumpkin,
This
and
monster. Yeah, we were asked by the bartender to kill this thing that was killing their chickens, and we ran into this monster, and he sucked his soul out, and then I don't know what happened, to be honest, but can you help him, please?
I will certainly try. And he's going to look over him and perform a basic medicine check. Um, just carefully, just looking over him, peeling back an eyelid if there's still an eyelid, and just just looking him over and kind of making an assessment. He picks up what looks like his holy symbol, and he whispers to it very softly in what sounds like a slightly different, lighter tongue. Um, and you can feel the area around you just brighten just the tiniest little bit. And then he frowns because it doesn't seem to have any effect on the figure in the bed. I'm I'm very, very sorry. I do not I do not think that perhaps it was enough. My healing capabilities are very limited in here. This and his face falls a little bit. This land puts a pale shadow over the powers of the gods, and I'm afraid that I am not able to reach the soul of your friend.
Mm,
Lily kind of looks a little shaken and sad because she thought this would work, but then she's just like, we gotta find someone else who can do it.
Yeah, yeah. Do you know of anyone else that can do it? He before that though, as he was Lucius was stuttering and about to break, and then Lily pipes up, says her piece, and Lucius seems to be clinging on to that hope.
I'm very sorry, but no one in this village would have that sort of power. Um, perhaps, perhaps one of the larger villages to the north maybe, but you would never make it in time to help him in that way. I don't think, unless you had some way of stopping the cold hand of death from pervading him.
Uh, isn't that what you did, Lily? We can make it. How far away is it?
A week?
We can do it. We have to do it. Let's do it.
Yeah, like you said, Lily, we'll do that.
Lily's just basically not accepting defeat.
And he smiles softly and sadly at the lot of you. And he says, "Well, I wish you, I wish you well in your journey and your endeavor. Father, please let me out!" And he winces sharply.
Is that coming
Grayson,
from him or from somewhere else?
somewhere else.
Yeah.
Grayson, Wilhelmina, Gallon, and Paige, you can all tell that it came from the room right next to you, right here.
Yeah.
The thumping of what sounds like a large wooden edifice was accompanied by the rattling of what sounds like many chains.
Sir, may we ask who is in this room?
Grayson's gonna try and open it. So,
The door is not shut. None of the doors in this place are shut. As you peer inside the room here, you can see in the floor there is a trap door covered in chains and padlocks. A slight hole in the roof drips a steady stream of water onto the floor from the mists that congregate from the outside, and you can physically see the chains and the door rattling as something sobs and pounds on the other side.
what does it smell like in here?
Make a perception check. Smells of mold, smells of rot, smells of deep, cloying earth, with just the slightest hint of copper laced underneath.
Does it smell more like rot in this room than it does in the other ones?
Yes.
Uh, Paige, I wouldn't get too close to that if I were you.
As Paige moves forward, she lays a hand on the trapdoor and kneels down and says, "Calm. You are not alone. Be calm." Go ahead and roll persuasion for me, Paige. And as you're doing that, the priestly gentleman in the other room proceeds to put his face in his hands and give his own much quieter sob. "It is what is left of my son."
What? What? Uh,
What happened, sir?
yeah, Lucius also becoming suspicious of this man. What happened to your son?
And because he doesn't want to shout between two rooms an entire story, he slowly turns to move towards the hallway a bit more so he can lean on the door jab just outside the door and talk to everybody in turn. Except, of course, the people who are currently in the room with the chains. Um, he was an impetuous youth, my Doru. He went with a group up to the castle to try and reason with its master. Most did not come back. Those that did, he nods at the room where Paige is currently trying to persuade what lies behind the door to calm itself. They were not the same. They were not themselves, but I cannot bring myself to end him. He is still my son. He's still my son. So I will not let him hurt anyone else, but I cannot kill him. So he will stay down there until I think of something or I am dead myself.
Galen wants to insight him, and I imagine Lucius would want to as well.
Yep, you can totally make insight checks on that. While you are doing so, Paige, with a 13, I don't want to.
Galen rolled a 1 for a 1.
Oh yeah, he's totally something,
And
alright.
Lucius rolled a 7 for a 6.
Oh god. Lucius and Galen, this guy's crying too much. You just can't get a read on him. Is it fake crying? You don't know. Is it real crying? You don't know. Everything in here is weird. Who knows what he really thinks and feels? Philomena, you want to try a hand at insight?
Yeah, sure. Let me see.
And so the chains quiet a little bit underneath your touch page, but you can still hear a slight scratching
I
on the underside of the door, as if somebody is pawing at it ever so slightly. Please,
insight.
please let me out. Yes, insight. I'm so very hungry. I have not eaten or drank in so long.
What would I roll to see if Grayson remembers the cure for vampirism?
That is going to be a religion check with a pretty high DC, even with your advantages. Wilhelmina, he seems like he's being pretty sincere in telling the truth, from what you can see.
Okay.
Oh, for me, you cut out. I didn't hear that.
And Grayson, death. Death cures all. You haven't actually come across someone who's been fully cured of vampirism. But then again, your job is to slay,
Cool.
not cure, per se. That is more of a doctoral thing, and you've got the prescription when it comes to monsters. It's death.
Um, I could put him out of his misery if you'd like.
No, no, he's not his fault. He is like this. He's not hurt anyone. I have not let him hurt anyone. He is fine where he is. Please, leave us alone. I am sorry I could not help your friend, but do not punish me by taking from me my only child.
Lily walks up to him and goes, "What is he like now?" Like trying to figure out if he is vampire-y or if he's zombie-y or if he's something else.
He is pale, like death washed over. He is strange. His eyes have changed. His teeth have grown longer. He shuns even the smallest of lights, wincing away from them. Before the altar, and he makes a motion at the altar inside. Before the altar cracked, he was not able to come inside the church anymore, and I had to desecrate my own church to bring my son within it again. I He tried to get out twice now that it is almost, but I have reinforced the chains. It will not happen again. But he almost bit me once. He is like starving animal. But there has to be a way to help him. I just haven't found it yet. I just need to read more, to do more research. And he pushes off the side of the wall and with feverish purpose strides towards the room he had come out of, throwing open
Lily
the door.
grabs his robes before he goes in.
Galen rolled a 13 on insight when he said that he didn't missed biting him, like he failed to bite him.
He seemed to be telling the truth.
Okay.
Lily grabs his robe so he doesn't go into the room and says, "Hold on," and pulls out half of a people pie and says, "This might help him feel better. There's things in it that may make him not as hungry,"
Uh,
and hands it to him.
he's confused, but he immediately just looks at it, looks at you. He doesn't
Are you
really
done?
understand, but he nods in confusion and says, "Th- "Thank,
Just trust her.
thank you.
Just trust her, man.
All right." And he still goes into the room, but instead of rushing to the desk that is currently full to the brim with books that have been painstakingly poured through, he goes to the corner of the room where there's a loose floorboard and pries it up to reveal a little bit of a hole in the foundational stonework. And he proceeds to drop the pie down. You hear a scrambling page from the door, like claws clicking on stonework as whatever is there scrambles away. And you hear what sounds like a relieved moan coming up from the cellar a few minutes later after uh, hurried ravi- some hurried ravaging tearing noises. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Very on edge. Can Gallon grab his pistol since it's a small palm pistol and like just have it at the ready but hidden as well?
Sure, it's a sleight of hand.
Okay. Ooh, 19 for 21.
Okay. If anybody else wants to roll perception against that to see what he's doing, if you beat if you beat the DC he just set, then you notice that he's doing it. But the priest, since he was in another room, certainly does not notice. Grayson sees nothing. Grayson's still puzzling over vampire puzzle. How to back, boy. Lily is upset that she had to give away her last people pie.
And Lily looked down the hole.
Yeah. Wilhelmina, you saw Gallon pocket his pistol.
With a 21 sleight of hand?
She rolled a natural 20.
Hi.
Okay. I was just wondering if we were doing natural 20 rolls for skills because I could not remember that.
I usually do it for skills, if it's something like this, if it's relevant. I think
It's not necessarily, it's more of a defensive measure anyways.
yeah.
Or prepared.
You notice that
I'm
he's
just
prepared.
watching. I won't say anything.
And standing there, you'll be able to see the rest of the church.
Oh yeah, that's right.
There you go. So, yeah, as you peer down into the dark below, Lily, even with your dark vision, you can't really make anything out. It must go down a while, though, because you don't really see much below you except for the bottom of the floor a little bit, and occasionally the flickering shuffle of something just outside the peripheral of your vision. Soon, Paige, you can hear the scratch, scratch, scratch at the trapdoor once more. Thank you, little girl, for giving my son some respite. Where did where did you get such a thing that satisfies this monstrous urge he has?
Granny
The
Morgan makes those in her pies.
Granny, oh, the pie peddler. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I I must get more of them for him. He will be hungry again soon. I am sure he is not eaten. He is not.
Just be
how
careful. You don't want to make him too strong.
Uh, oh,
how long has he been like this? And also, forgive our rudeness, but what was your name?
I'm Donovich. The, I am. I am the priest here at the church. My family has been of the clergy here for several generations, and I suppose I will be the last. But yes, apologies. He has been. It has been, I believe, and he starts to count on his fingers. About a year, I'd say, at this point.
That's a long time for someone to be locked up in a basement.
Well, I can't exactly let him roam freely. Do you any idea the kind of havoc that would wreak? And he would not be able to take the guilt of what he would do to survive. I can't let him have that guilt. It is my fault. I should have stopped him in the beginning.
Is there anyone else still alive from the expedition he went on?
Not in any sense that you would think that they are. Any that survived are like him, or they just did not come back at all. There was a man. He came. He came and told us that we needed to stand up to the Baron, and he convinced some of our younger, our more passionate, our sons, our daughters, to go with him to the castle to persuade. And he makes sort of a stabby motion with his hand, the Baron to free these lands from his shadow. I told him it was not a good idea. I told him if we just keep our head down, eventually the morning god will come and he will save us. But he did not listen to me. He was spurred to action, and he went. He went with the man in black. He went all the way up to the castle with so many other poor, promising young men and women. And when he came back, he was as he is.
I'm afraid to tell you that's no longer your son.
It is. It is my son. It is. He's all that I have.
Lily
It's
peeks her head out and is like, "You don't know that."
Does he have his senses with him if you are able to sate his hunger with these pies? If he
this.
does not have his senses, then he is no longer your son.
It isn't him. It's when a person becomes a vampire, an evil takes its place and simply uses the person it used to be as a facade. It's not really them.
It is
It's
him. And Donovich stamps his foot on the ground, weak and not looking as he is, the priest just pulling into himself and staring stubbornly at Grayson with a fire that he must have once used in his sermons. It is him. When the night is quiet and I can spare a pint or two of my own blood, that I will pour down the hole for him, he will talk. We will speak of old times. He does not like being like this. He does not like it either. He does not want to be this. He hates what he is. He is not evil. He is my child, and I will find a way to free him. And You will not take him from me. And he kind of puts his hands up, like fists, very unsurely. He does not look like he is exactly a man who could fight. But he is willing to try.
Lily's looking at the desk. Is there anything interesting about a 7?
With a 7 investigation, no, you're not seeing anything of interest. And switching over to Paige for a moment, Paige is trying to speak to the sun while everybody's arguing in the next room. She leans down to the. Oh, whoa! Did everybody just get kicked out?
No.
No,
Oh, it
I'm
looked
still in
like
there.
it on roll 20, but yeah,
Oh yeah. Try moving a
that's
character.
weird.
When Lily moved, she popped back up again. Yep. Okay. Yeah. That's okay. I don't know what's going on there. Anywho, Um, Paige leans down to speak softly into the thin space between the door and the floor. Do you wish to live, or do you wish to be full? Are you happy in this life? You hear a small voice, hoarse and ragged from screaming, answer you. A little bit quieter now, a little bit more subdued. I do not, I do not want to die. I, I don't want to die. I do not like this, but I do not want to die. I am not happy. But I am afraid of dying. I have seen what it is to die, and it is not freedom here. This is not freedom either. Nothing is freedom. I just let me out. I will go far away. You will. You will never even know that I have left. It will be fine. Just let me out, please.
I do not believe we have any room to speak on this matter. We should take Nocturne and go.
You said he nearly escaped twice.
I have reinforced the chains. It will not happen again. He has not been able to get out in months. He has not even remotely breached them. They are good chains. They are sturdy. I have reinforced everything. I add more every week just in case. He is safe there. And when I am not feeling too weak, I and he holds out his arm and he yanks up the sleeve, showing where countless times before he must have used it to pour his son a little drink. Um, Whenever I am able to give him any of what I have, so that he will not be in such pain, I do. I cannot ask others to do so, of course. That would be. It is my burden. It is my burden. I understand this. But I am managing. We are managing. We are still a family. And Paige nods softly. If you are a danger to your father and others, would you accept bonds that would bind your tongue, your teeth, and your hands? Would you go as strangers at a chance to cleanse yourself? And there's a silence from the trapdoor as you ask this, Paige, as if somebody's thinking it over. I I would. I, if I could not be like this anymore, of of course I would. Let me out. I will show you. I will show you that I can be good. I will. I will show you that I can be good. Hey, please.
Does this man look older than I am?
He looks about the same age as you, honest. Maybe slightly younger, but basically in the same area range.
But in much weaker constitution.
Definitely. him sparing of his own blood to give to his son has done nothing for his health.
I figure. You weaken yourself what seems to be by the day or by the week. What happens when he surely outlives you?
Then, I guess before the end, I will have to find someone else to watch over him. I, It's clear that he hasn't really thought that far ahead. He's sort of scrambling for an answer.
This, very unfortunately, is not something that can be fixed
You
with
don't know that. Maybe he can be fixed.
the methods that he's been using. Not like this.
If that creature down there is just a vampire spawn, it's not even his son. It's just something using his body. I mean, his son's gone.
Again, I believe we have no say in this matter.
I'm interested to see what Paige has been doing while we're all out here.
I mean,
Yeah.
Paige's expression remains the same. Apathetic expression it always is. Her lips do purse somewhat, though as she mutters softly, "You know you cannot vanish. There is nowhere in this land you can go where you will not be hunted or commit unspeakable acts of evil. As long as I have lived in this land, I have heard tales of a group who may be able to bring you back to how you were. If they exist, I will try to bring you to them. But if this is to be done, you cannot flee. You must show me." With one hand she lifts the door as far as it'll go, and her other hand slips her fingers inside. "Show me what control you have." She doesn't have flesh she can turn, of course, but he doesn't know that. Go ahead and roll persuasion for me, Paige. Mm. There's some stat. Alright, so there is a long pause as you do this, the chains rattling a bit as you pull the door up ever so slightly to create a gap that you can just barely fit your fingers through, no more than two at one time. And as you do so, at first nothing happens, and it seems like perhaps he can hold himself back. Perhaps this is something that can be done. And then you hear the smallest, softest sob. "I'm so sorry, but I'm so hungry." And then you feel, well, I guess there is a sharp clank as something tries to bite you, and a yelp and a thump as something falls down the staircase below the trapdoor. And there is a vampire spawn down there with a very large toothache now. This reminds me of
Do
that TikTok that I've been seeing recently about, "Please, please stick your fingers through the bars. I'm friendly." And Paige, you don't hear much else from beneath the trapdoor except what sounds like heavy sobbing and somebody just whispering to themselves over and over and over again. getting progressively louder and softer in turn. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just so hungry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I think Lucius would come out and ask if he knows of the healers in the larger town to the north and if they could help uh, his son.
I've sent letters to them. But I have not. The responses have not been. I could not be outright in what I was asking. They could not know. I I've sent letters. Their responses have not been fruitful. They may be able to help your friend. He nods at Nocturna, who's still on the bed in the other room. But they do not know of any way to save my son.
You're sure they could help? You're sure they could help him? But
I mean, no one can be sure of anything in this land, but I know that there is no one here who could, and they would be your best chance.
at worst, we could go and ask in your stead as we search for help for ourselves.
If you can find any information about how to save my son, I would be eternally grateful to you. The gods of the sun and dawn would smile down upon you, as hopefully they someday will the rest of this land.
Is this what we're deciding then? If so, sir, you cannot give him any more blood. If anything, the pies. Only the pies. And this is to make sure he is secure.
I do not understand how the pies can help, but obviously they do. He looks a little bit concerned about that, honestly. Uh,
I wouldn't ask.
Don't think too much about it.
Alright.
Gowan will actually try to persuade that
Go ahead and roll
if that's
persuasion.
something he can do.
Yeah, you can roll persuasion on that.
Let's see what my bonus is. I think it's high. Oh yeah, that's just 16. Yay
Alright.
for being a sorcerer.
He is at least persuaded that he doesn't want to know what's in the pies.
I would refrain from eating them yourself as well, sir.
I certainly won't. I mean, if they will help Doru, I will save them all for him, of course. Also, side note, I love how you are actively encouraging him to buy child pie when you know what's in it.
Hey, what else can we do?
Pat is also wondering if the Orb of Doom would be helpful to him. The glowing radiant orb, but Lily would not think of that.
But it would also probably damage him.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Yeah,
but it
but
would
if it's-
protect him and keep the guy under the floorboards.
Yeah.
He's in there pretty well anyway.
Last
it was
I
only
checked,
twice.
I think Wilhelmina still has the orb.
I do.
I did forget about that though.
I didn't. But no, I think it would only damage him, and I think it wouldn't help the man.
But anyway, Lily's just like, we gotta help Knock Knock, and we gotta try to help this guy, and we gotta save everything. She's not very happy about all this. She just wants everything to be fine. So she's trying to hold it together.
Grayson kind of sighs and do you know where we can get horses to make our journey, I don't know, faster?
or perhaps a
I
wagon.
I would remind our party that we already have an obligation upon our obligation upon our obligation. And that would actually help us in our transport. We just need to regroup at this point, I believe. How long until the sun?
Um, you
Or what we consider the sunlight of dawn?
you would guess that it's probably going to be well, maybe a couple of hours at this point, considering how long boys' night dragged on.
Then we have a few hours before we must make our appearance.
That is
Paige,
right.
Paige will look over at the priest, and having missed most of the conversation, she says, "Do not treat him with any more cruelty than is needed to contain him, nor should you allow your kindness toward him to be your weakness. She does not look like she has high hopes." Pardon me for just a second. There's yelling going on in my living room, and I'm not sure what's going on, so I will be right back.
Okay.
I hope I'm doing Lucius justice. I feel like I'm doing good with him.
I think right now he's probably more concerned about Nocturna and also trying to ignore the fact that we're upselling people pies.
Yeah.
Grayson is ignoring the fact that they're made out of people right now.
There's a lot of thing like Galen's really trying to negotiate with himself internally.
I mean, as Grayson sees it, he's paid to kill monsters. No one is paying him to kill this monster.
Correct.
Lily's being quiet about it because last time she mentioned it, everybody got angry. But she knows they help.
But yeah, no, ignoring the pies. We'll see if we can help with the vampire dude maybe. Gotta go Burgermeister or whatever and be like, alright, give us some stuff. Oh, we gotta go here? We're gonna take a little detour. Unless it is where we're going. We don't even know.
So
That's another thing I was trying to think of is like, what are our goals right now or missions? I know,
Burgermeister, get the girl away from the guy who turned everybody to vampires.
Apparently. I'm gonna go check the door. I'm just gonna leave this here.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the Burgermeister is going to give us supplies for transport, and that's what we need. So, if he can supply us, well, you know.
Apologies, I am back.
I think we have to go to the tavern inn, at least temporarily. I know that most of us are still very weak after all the fighting, but we also have to, quote-unquote, kill time before
Dawn.
dawn.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Grayson,
Grayson
I can't
is
hear you.
very far away.
Grayson is in another country.
Sorry, I forgot I had lifted my boom mic out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Grayson's like, I'm back in the tavern, bye!
Okay, so sorry about that. So yeah, you guys are all gonna regroup, rest, and discuss.
Having a night's rest would help.
And
It's been a very eventful night.
Nocturna is gentle repose, which I believe lasts for an entire 8 days. So
I think it's 10 days.
10 days?
8 days? 10 days.
10 days?
That's what I thought, but I don't remember for sure.
I don't know
10
what.
days.
I don't know why 8 was sticking in my head. 10 days then.
And Lily is going to say to Priest Man before they leave, I promise I want to try to help as much as I can. I'll see if I can find something to help him.
He smiles weakly at you and puts a calloused hand on your head, giving it a gentle pat. You are such a good little girl. Your parents must be proud.
I pretty much just got them, and points over to the group and says,
Lucius would have popped up like, I am very proud.
Yeah, she's top of her class.
Lily says, but you need to sleep and rest yourself, because you're not going to be helpful if you are also sick and kind of looks over at Nocturna, and it just kind of trails off, and is just like,
Paige, I think you might be mixing games again. Yeah.
I mean, she might have heard something from somewhere. She's been around a while.
I'm sure she heard some rumors about things, but
Oh yeah, that's another thing we're doing. We're looking for pages.
Evangeline.
Yeah, Evangeline.
Also, I have to return Granny Morgan's basket.
alright. I'm sorry, I could not.
Hey,
Hmm?
if you're going to see Granny Morgan, can you give her her basket back?
Oh, but I don't know where she lives.
Well, she comes and sells pies.
I suppose I will be able to give them back to her then, since I need to find her to get the pies. Alright, okay.
Well, I don't want to put more stuff on you. You can also buy pies at the tavern.
That would be infinitely easier.
Okay, I'll return the basket. Don't worry about it. Okay, everybody, let's go. We got things to do.
Lily, party leader, boom, takes off at a trot.
Hey, if we have a mission.
Grayson, of course, follows.
You can stay here, Grayson.
Talking to God would do you good, Grayson.
There is no God in this place anymore.
That is very evident. Especially if it turned a priest to desecrate his own church. And as they're leaving, Gallon's pulling up to he'll reholster his pistol where it's supposed to be at.
Alright, so as you make your way from the church and head back towards the inn, or really I should have just taken you to the inn. Gunful. There we are.
Thank you.
Look, it's werewolf Grayson.
Oh, look at that.
So yeah.
I'm gonna go finish the dress.
Okie dokie.
I suppose someone should inform the barkeep that the request has been completed.
think they
I'll do
already
it. I'm gonna
did.
ask for more pies.
Oh, did we?
Wilhelmina yelled it at him.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah, Wilhelmina yelled at him and demanded a healer that he didn't have.
Hey, he's the barkeep. He should know anything and everything, and he doesn't, man.
There's not a lot of things to know here.
Uh,
Or
Grace-
get the alcohol at least, Jesus.
Mhm.
Excuse me.
Uh, use the bartender, still shaken up from being shouted at quite vigorously, um, kind of peers over at the lot of you with very suspicious and somewhat concerned eyes.
I wanted to let you know that we defeated the pumpkin monster that was in your barn, and it really hurt Knock Knock. So we finished whatever it is that you wanted them to do. And I need more pies.
I don't have any more pies, but if uh, one of your older number wants to collect the booze that was promised for the task, I will certainly give it to them.
What is booze?
It is an alcoholic beverage for those of an adult nature.
Yes.
He did this for
Hey,
alcohol?
it was also his idea. He agreed with it.
we didn't think it was such a hellish creature killing chickens.
Yes. The
Welcome
creature.
to Barovia.
The creature eating
so
your
bad.
chickens was something that could have only been of demonic or evil nature, not of this plane.
To be fair, that's most things that lurk under the bed, so
So this better be expensive alcohol you did this for, like
it is
enough to revivify someone.
it is the most expensive alcohol, but it is probably not revivify level.
Is there any chance that we could receive some hazard pay for the lack of clarity of the danger of this request you've asked of us?
To be fair, I didn't know what was taking the chickens, so didn't know that it was that dangerous. It only went after chickens, not people.
Lily starts looking confused. Am I a chicken? Get your alcohol and then we got stuff to do.
Nonetheless, is there any way that we could receive some compensation for
Persuade.
the That's essentially what I was trying to do, but like, yeah. Oh yeah. Dice. Ooh, a 19.
He does look a little bit guilty as Lucius carries the limp body of Nocturna upstairs. He doesn't actually know that that's a dead man you're carrying upstairs, or he might tell you to get it the fuck out of his tavern. Yeah, he clears his throat somewhat somewhat guiltily, and he says, "Alright, I did not realize it was going to be that much of a hassle. I thought maybe mutant coyote. Did not really think weird
Soul
Pumpkin.
stealing monster.
pumpkin monster. That is a new one. Okay, yeah, no, definitely did not think that. Have not seen that one before. Look, I don't exactly have a lot of coin, but can uh I can assure you that the rest of your stay here will be free of charge.
The night that we already paid for is free. Yay! And she goes upstairs.
Also, you can have one more bottle of the alcohol.
I have 2 bottles. There, we can keep one for him and drink the other.
That sounds good. When he wakes up, I'm sure he will laugh and laugh and laugh about the experience, right?
If you
Yeah.
Yes.
When he wakes up.
Uh,
Giving a glance at Gowan or Grayson.
so you see him reach underneath the counter, and 2 extremely dusty bottles are set before you.
Who has our bag of holding? Is that Lucius?
Genie.
Mina? Oh,
Genie.
that's right. It is. Oh, Genie. Okay.
Bag of teeth.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm not
Paige.
putting alcohol with the teeth. Grayson will take the bottles and put them in his backpack. Then he will proceed to sit. He will then proceed to order a glass of whiskey or bourbon. That is not the bourbon that he just put in his bag.
Yep.
Alrighty. Someday I'll find a use for those teeth, mark my words. I can't wait.
We've already used them twice as sending teeth and to terrify and traumatize a poor shopkeeper.
You also made
Also,
some
they've been
into a
installed
mace.
in a hammer.
Yeah. Yeah, now they've got a tooth hammer that Nocturna owns.
Oh god, I forgot about that.
Hmm. Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And also they are also magic stones too.
That
Okay.
is true. We
That's so mean.
Yep.
But anyway, yeah. So Grayson, you sit down and are poured bourbon with a slightly shaky hand. Paige, you said that you're going upstairs to tend to coma patient, quote unquote, Nocturna. Lucius, I assume, is probably anxiously hovering over their waifu, assisting with lifting and fluffing pillows as directed by Paige, probably. Wilhelmina, you said you're going to go finish the dress. Gallon, what are you doing?
He's drinking.
Also drinking. And Lily?
One, I sent you something.
Oh, I go look. Oh, I got 2. Other people sent me things too, apparently.
It's okay.
I'm
I was
sorry.
thinking about DMing you, but I knew you would be very distracted with DMing.
Okay.
But yeah, Lily will write down what's happening in her book, and also get some magic ink, and also rest.
Mhm. Everything you guys are doing right now, with the exception of Wilhelmina, because she's working on a dress, basically counts as a short rest.
I think I only lost 2 points when I jumped out the window.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You can just take 30 minutes to shut your eyes for a second, and you'll be fine.
Let me see what regenerates on a short rest. That does.
On a short rest, if you're a warlock, you get all your spell slots back. Druids get all their wild shapes back.
Sorcerers don't get nothing.
Sorcerers don't get nothing. I believe, yeah.
Fighters get almost all of their things back.
And oh, sorry. You can roll your hit die to. You can roll your hit die to get hit points back.
Okay.
Except for Nocturna. It's not getting anything back.
Poor Knock Knock.
Poor Knock Knock. Can no longer call him Wolf Boy.
I mean, we can call him whatever we want. You're not gonna hear it.
But now that belongs to Grayson.
Grayson is not going to want to be called Wolf Boy.
Then Lily will call you Wolf Boy.
You could just call him Mr. Fluffles.
He doesn't deserve such a sweet name. But it would make him angry, so maybe.
All right. So anybody who's using their short rest to regenerate their hit points, go ahead and roll your hit die now to get those back. Yeah, I
I
don't
will
think you
roll.
ever actually got to the barn before, cause you were the only smart one that did not jump out a window. You went down the stairs.
I was trying to make it there in time.
Not. Yeah, you went down the stairs and outside like the normal way instead of jumping out a window.
4 plus 3.
Some of us are skilled.
It was mostly because I didn't want to
Ooh.
play your character wrong, so you spent basically the entire episode just trying to get to the fucking barn.
My post-it notes.
I spent 1 hit die and got almost all my HP back.
Excellent.
For Grayson,
I was down
a
by
short rest is a
7.
long rest.
Yeah, but you don't get those hit dies back.
No, for Grayson, a long rest
Oh,
is
yeah.
around 4 hours.
Yep,
Oh,
and
yeah.
that's about how long you have until dawn, so yeah.
Found my post-its.
Oh no.
Found my post-it notes. Yay!
Yeah.
Now I have to math.
Alright. So yeah. The next 4 hours pass in relative calm compared to the last portion of your evening. And you see what might be described as a lightning in the mists that are outside ever so slightly as what you think might be dawn crests over the hills.
Alright, so Grayson will go upstairs and retrieve his fellow adventurers and let them know it is dawn.
Alrighty. Barely got any sleep at all.
Says Gallon, who spent the last 4 hours drinking at the bar.
Not all 4 hours drinking.
Also, do you
But-
know it says you have 0 HP above your head?
I was trying to get rid of the bar because every time it goes to a new map, it just got set. Okay, there we go. I was just trying to get rid of the bar above it because it's not. Anyways,
So I believe you guys had an appointment that Wilhelmina was reminding you about?
Yes.
oh yeah, with the burgermaster.
Or
Yes,
rather,
that's
his son.
Yeah, that's why
Yes.
Grayson is waking everyone up.
Understood. All right.
And Lily is going to go over to Lucy and Knock Knock's room and knock on the door. And of course, understandably, Knock Knock is not going to answer.
Knock knock, who's there? Not knock knock.
And if Lucy lets her come in, she's going to say, "Good morning," and reach under the bed and pull out her doll.
Morning, Lily. Oh, you left
Hi.
your doll in here?
Yeah, and I expected someone else to be in here so she could keep an eye out, but it didn't happen. But we should go. We need to take Knock Knock, and we also need to go save, what's her name, Irina?
Mm-hmm.
And we need to help Miss Irina, and we got a lot of
Basket.
things to do. We gotta go quick.
I think OOC Lee, the list of current quests slash side quests that you have been given are: one, go meet up with the Burgermaster's son about his sister Irina. Two, I believe Wilhelmina, you've been told to meet somebody somewhere along the road. Uh, Three, you have a basket to return to Granny. And four, you guys have also promised to keep an eye out to see if you can find any way to help Doru.
I feel like if we're heading to the I feel like if we're heading to the Burgomaster's son, and actually Lucius will say this. I don't know if we should if uh knock, if Knock Knock should come with us to the Burgermeister's son. I think it's good for him to rest until we're ready to leave for the town up north.
Well,
He
what if
doesn't
we
need
depart?
rest. He's dead.
What if we depart directly from the Burgermeister's son's house?
That was my
Uh,
idea first.
That's fair.
Lily and Grayson get in a staring match.
Lily doesn't need to blink.
Does Grayson?
No, Grayson doesn't need to blink either.
World's longest fucking staring match.
It's messed up because Gallon also doesn't need to blink, but he's not part of this.
Why doesn't Gallon need to
Most of our party actually doesn't need to blink.
Why doesn't Gallon need to blink? He's still human.
Shadow sorcerers are weird.
Shadow sorcerers don't need to blink?
Yeah, they, despite being alive, they actually, if you look at them closely, they're almost like near death. They seem like.
What does that have to do with blinking?
They have quirks, and one of the quirks on the list for shadow sorcerers is like you blinked once, maybe like a week or two ago.
Oh my god.
I remember reading that.
Shadow sorcerers are weird, and like some of their quirks just make them seem like they're borderline undead.
So, Paige says it would be wise to see the Burgermeister's son first, so that we might procure horses to aid our journey in aiding Nocturna. Paige says as she joins them. We can go from there.
Let's go.
All right then.
Lucius slips a pair of shades on Nocturna, puts an arm through their robe,
Yes.
and Weekend at Bernie's them.
Also, Lily might also. What was that guy's name again? I'm sorry, I can't remember people's names anymore. What's the drunk son's name?
No idea.
Eastmark. That's right.
Mhm.
Eastmark's probably gonna be too drunk to notice Knock Knock anyway.
Not inaccurate. Alright.
He's had enough of this tomfoolery. We got stuff to do.
Lucius, you okay carrying Knock Knock once again?
Yeah, I got it. I can carry him. I'll carry him.
Lucy's strong.
Yes, but carrying, I don't know, approximately 120 pounds plus armor, and dead weight on you is taxing.
Lucy is strong.
Grayson trying so hard not to slap a child.
Yes, yes, he is.
Ah, I feel like this is when you had to deal with Patrick for a bit there. Ah.
Just try it, Grayson. We'll see what happens.
Anyway, so yeah, you guys step out into the misty semi-morning of Barovia. The mist still swirling about. You can see a little bit of smoke rising from several chimneys, including the inn which you just left. But there isn't a whole lot of it for many of them, as a couple are near collapse and even more are boarded up. There's very few houses left habitable in this town, as far as you can see. And Lily and Paige and Wilhelmina, you just know from general practice that honestly, the village of Barovia has seen larger populations in its time, and it's not exactly great right now. But all three of you do know where the Burgermaster's house is, mostly because all three of you have been to it at one point or another. In fact, Lily and Paige, you were just at it a few days ago before the Death House incident, speaking with Irina. So you know that it is due south of where you are right now, down the longest road, the largest house here, which does have smoke curling invitingly from one of its chimneys.
What does Nocturnal look like right now?
That's a
I was
great
wondering that
question.
too.
Next question.
Grayson's gonna wrap Nocturna in like a blanket as a makeshift cape and hood to cover whatever his features are, so we don't have to worry about it.
Probably a good idea. Yeah. All right. So as you all move south along the what? What?
Sorry, I was laughing at the ditto.
Yeah, knock knock probably. Ditto.
Oh god. Oh god. Yes. Um yes, that's canon now actually. Okay, that's good.
Now the question is he shiny or is he not shiny?
Shiny because it's purple, obviously.
Well, purple is not shiny. Blue is shiny.
We're gonna be purple now. It's okay.
So, yeah. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I was just comparing what a strength is. A 17 is roughly like able to carry heavy objects with one arm. So there's that.
I wouldn't call Nocturna a very heavy object, but anyway.
Well, I was just looking.
Let me get the Burgermaster's house set up because I wasn't actually sure if you guys would get there today.
We needed to fight the old man.
Obviously.
Gallon was ready to.
I know, you're always down to beat up the elderly.
Pop how.
Grayson was ready to just kill a kid and put it out of its misery, but you know.
Everybody's
Yeah.
gotta be killjoys and not let you. There it is. Map layer. You'll like this one. I made this one specifically for the game because there wasn't actually a visual representation of it in the book what the Burger's Master's house was, so.
Lily goes up, straightens her dress a little bit, gets off some of the straw that's still on it, and knock, 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 knock.
Oh my god. One moment. I am still widening the map.
Also, now thinking about it, she should probably be more concerned with doors after her experience in the death house, but you know.
She's been in this house before and it hasn't done anything to her, so it's probably fine. You've been in Irina's house before.
You haven't been eaten yet.
Not in this house, no.
Hi, sorry.
Welcome back. You're good. I had to make a map open
Okay,
because
good.
I wasn't sure if you'd actually get to the Burger Master's house today, so I hadn't actually put the map up yet.
Yeah, my dad
We're
asked.
always so very expedient when going from place to place.
I know,
I
right?
know, who would have thought?
Especially the number of times we were told that we would be done with the basement.
I mean, that's not my fault. You can't blame me for that.
It's not like we were dragging our butts in the basement, though.
I don't know.
Like, we weren't power speed gaming it, but we weren't dragging our butts either.
We
Unless it
totally
wasn't meant
did
for
not
us to
clear
take
everything.
as.
There were still lots of little cubbies with possible things that we could have.
Oh,
But
yes.
no, couldn't take all those things. I just got my bone knife and we were done.
Yeah, it's sad how you passed up all those potentially cursed and wonderful objects. Sad.
We
I get
also
scary
did get
scared.
oh no, the cloak was in, I'm mixing games again.
No, there was cloaks in both games.
Okay. Well, I mean the cloak, the location of the cloak.
The location of the cloak was the same in both games.
Oh, okay.
Goodbye, baby. I love you too.
It was rough to have my character not make a argument for the cloak in the first group, but he
Shame.
wasn't gonna wear something of that material.
A
He
different
had.
cloak.
Oh.
So you keep forgetting that there were two cloaks that you guys found in both
Ah,
games.
I do keep forgetting that.
You found like a
Huh?
normal, actual +1 AC cloak in both games. Um, it's just that one of your players didn't actually tell you what it was and just put it on, and that was that. Um,
Hmm.
that was game one. And in game two, I believe Nocturne is the one with that cloak. And then you also each found a different cloak made of a very questionable substance in the tunnels just before the final big boss bad.
Hmm. I actually believe it's Lucius with the cloak. At least that's what it says in his sheet.
Yeah, Lucius is the one that has a cloak. I don't know if he
Okay.
gave it away, but
I thought Nocturne had it
Nah.
for some reason, but it could be that. Oh well.
Yeah, Lucius
I think
is
Knock Knock was using.
Lucius definitely.
I think Lucy was using it to cover his face. And
Oh yeah, that's right. Anywho, okay, now the map's ready. Let me move you guys to it.
And he was building himself to be the tankiest tank that could tank.
Thank
Ooh, this
you.
is very pretty.
You've seen this one before, because the
I
other group
have,
actually
but
got to it.
not as zoomed out. Not as zoomed out though. I was on mobile, I think, with last time, so I never really got a good look at it.
Ah,
At least I think I was.
alright, as you approach this old but stately manor, you notice that while some of the flagstones are definitely in disrepair and the stained glass windows could certainly use a wash, it is mostly in good condition. Compared to the rest of the buildings in here, only the inn comes close to this level of quote unquote pristineness. There are wild rose bushes growing all around the outside. of the domicile, leading up the long stone steps to the large set of double doors that lead inwards. It is a three-story looking edifice with a large tower at the very top in the center of the right-hand side that looks like it might either be a bell tower or an overlook of something. Um, you can see at the front doors there is a large brass knocker, which Lily seems quite familiar with, or maybe it's just childhood enthusiasm that has her running up the stairs towards it.
Thunk thunk.
Knock, knock!
Are you awake? We're here.
And as you are used to, there is quite a bit of time before you actually hear a response from the building. The pattering of footsteps across carpet and wood alike as somebody moves towards the door. There's a loud clunk as it opens a crack, and a very tired looking woman peers out at you from behind it. She has long brown hair and very smooth, angular features. She looks tired and a bit paler than one would normally look, and she does have black smudges around her eyes, either from lack of sleep or crying. Uh, Lily, what are you, what are you doing here, child? I was not expecting you back.
Is this Irina?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Miss Irina. Mr. Ismark asked for us.
Her brow kind of furrows in confusion for a moment, and then her brows shoot up in realization. She looks a bit frustrated. Thank you for coming. You really did not need. Irina, is that our guests? You hear from behind her as another set of footsteps clunk, clunk, clunk across the doors. Do not just block the door, sister. Please, please, invite them in. She kind of gives a. Yes, of course. Where are my manners? I am very sorry. Please do come in. She pulls the door open and into the drawing room area for you.
This is dark. There we go.
It's wonderful to see you too, Miss Page. Any luck with your search? Her eyes shoot up in surprise. She was mainly asking as a courtesy. This information surprises her greatly. But she does smile a little bit in encouragement, heartened by this small bit of hope that you have brought with you. That is wonderful news. I am so happy for you. I hope that it pans out well. Eastmark is standing, kind of shifting from foot to foot just inside the entranceway, motioning the lot of you inside uh, eagerly. He has a hand pressed to his head with what looks like a small bag of ice, so he must be sporting a hangover.
Come on, everybody.
Wilhelmina, are you awake?
Yes, I am here. I My lord, we are here in attendance to see what we can do to help you complete your mission.
Ismark nods urgently and says, "Yes. If you would come into the drawing room. This way." And he motions you forward, um, down a hallway with Irina, her hands clasped, falling behind, sort of lingering near the back and conversing with Paige. She glances at Nocturna with some concern as she's indicated by Paige, and says, "Oh dear, I'm so sorry to see. Is are they?" And she looks a little bit uncomfortable. Well,
They seem to have lost their senses, unfortunately, and need aid getting around. But we are looking for a healer that could help them.
oh, I would normally suggest Father Donovich to you, but he's been so odd this past year. It might be better to seek help elsewhere.
The plan. We're gonna go. I don't really know where we're gonna go, but we're gonna go there quick.
And Eastmark leads you all to a set of double doors down the hallway and opens them to indicate a warm room that appears to have the fireplace lit. There are soft green couches positioned in a circle around the room. There's a beautiful, what looks like a globe that has several continents that you are rather unfamiliar with at first glance upon it. But what really stands out is what is to the left of the room, which is a large coffin covered in chains.
Huh.
Lily, you don't remember that being here last time you were here.
You got new decorations.
My lord, uh, may I ask if this is the prior lord of the manor?
And Ismark's face, uh, which was full of sort of desperate hope, falls a bit as he nods. This is this is where my father lies in rest. We are to inter him to the ground this afternoon. In fact, we will be we will be making the journey to the cemetery this afternoon as evening draws to close to bury him. Until then, he indicates the chains with a sort of sweeping motion of his hand. We wanted to be certain, just in case, given the nature of his death, that there was nothing untoward. It is a precaution, you understand. Um, please sit. This is longer. This is a longer story than I can simply tell. Please sit. I will explain. I promise.
Look, everybody. This is like from the death house, and pets the puppy.
It is a large, fluffy white wolf. This one, instead of its face set in a snarl, though, has a lolling tongue. His head is tilted to one side, and there's a slightly silverish look to his fur. Also, somebody, perhaps a child, appears to, at some point, crafted him a set of small armor just for him. He looks like an adorable, almost paladin-like silver wolf.
Question. I had connection issues. What was the description for the coffin that's chained?
It's a plain wooden coffin covered in chains.
It's the old Burgermeister who's going to be buried this afternoon, but they wanted to make sure that he didn't get out of the coffin.
Yeah, basically
Ah, okay, okay.
precautions. you gotta be careful.
Is that normal for people to do in
Yes,
Barovia?
actually, extremely normal.
Okay, well, cool then. Then Lily wouldn't say new decorations then, because she would know what it means. But she's all excited about the puppy.
Yeah, it's a silver wolf. Instead of looking ferocious like the ones in the Death House did, though, this one kind of looks sweet. Ears are perked, head is tilted, tongue is lolling to one side, and somebody has done him up in a set of silver armor that makes him look like an almost paladin-like wolf.
Only Knock Knock was awake. I think he would like this wolf.
With a deep-seated hunger for pies. Yes. Um, but anywho, yes, Irina and Ismark both sort of stand before the fireplace. Irina staring into it, her face twisted with a look of frustration and sadness, and Ismark kind of looking out at the lot of you, evaluating, sort of judging now that he is not drunk as a skunk to do so. Uh, so, so, where to start? This is my sister, Irina, for those of you who do not know her, and I am Ismark. I was the son of the Burgermaster, but I suppose I am now the Burgermaster. I, my father, and he nods at the coffin across the way. My father helped rule over this town for the past 30 or so years fairly, with good intent. He kept the people as safe as he could. He kept us as safe as he could, given the circumstances and the proximity to his lordship's castle. And things were all right for a time. We were left pretty much well enough alone. But as my sister grew, and he nods at Irina, as my sister grew, the Count developed an unhealthy fascination with her. And "Oh, get on with it, Ismark," says Irina. And she huffs, grabbing her collar and yanking it down. And you can see two large reddened marks on the side of her neck. Um, they appear to be scabbed over currently, but she looks defiantly out of the lot of you, her jaw clenched somewhat. "I cannot stop him when he comes into the house. My body freezes and I cannot move. He visits in the cover of night. He has done so for the past 3 months. This last time around, my father confronted him, and he was killed for it. He he is dead, and it is my fault," says Irina, and her lower lip quivers just the slightest little bit as she says it.
My lady, you know that is not true.
"If I had not attracted his attention, my father would be alive. I do not know exactly what it is that I have done to warrant such attention, but nevertheless, my father would be alive."
He
Ismark.
would also be alive if he didn't live in Barovia, but there are certain things we can't change.
She actually laughs with bitter amusement at that. Uh, Paige says, "You are not responsible for the actions of others. You help nobody by, by stealing guilt you do not own," Paige states. Ismark reaches out a hand and places it on her shoulder. "Irina, you are not the first woman he has done this to. You are just one of the ones whose family actually cared that it was happening." He looks at the lot of you. "I can do nothing for my father, but I can help my sister. Please." And he actually gets down on one knee and bows his head towards you. I cannot take her myself. My responsibility is to the town, and I must do what I can to help its citizens, those of us that are left. But please, can you take my sister to one of the neighboring villages? There is a chapel there, I believe, and he looks at Paige and Lily in turn. I believe you two are familiar with it. I need you to take her to Valaki. There is a church there that is said that the Baron cannot enter. Those who go there are protected from him. No vampire may step foot within its boundaries. I need you to take her there so she may be safe. I cannot go myself.
This church, do they have healers that could help Nocturna?
If they have power strong enough to keep out the Baron, I cannot think that they would not. It is your best place to find someone who can. Well, next to the monastery, but I would not advise going there.
Why not the monastery?
Lily, Wilhelmina, and Paige, please make history checks.
Yep.
Pardon me a second.
Page monologuing about the entire history of the.
Apologies.
No worries.
Anywho, so with a 23 page, you know exactly why nobody should go to the monastery. Um, there is a certain priest, bishop. Nobody is really sure. It's been a long time since anyone has seen him. It's certainly been at least 30 or more years since you have caught a glimpse of him. But you do remember his smiling, angelic face as he stood amidst the hordes of disfigured and stitched and restitched mongrel folk that take residence at the convent.
Above game, this guy isn't named Shao, is it?
Nope.
Good. You know what I was thinking of,
I
right?
know exactly what you were thinking of. Wilhelmina, you have also heard of the monastery, and while you are not familiar per se with what actually resides there, you do know that there are whispers of monsters and of people going missing near it, and if they do come back, coming back horribly disfigured and changed.
Yeah.
Nilly, you haven't been sent there to deliver any messages, like ever, so you're not really sure what's going on with that place.
I'm also probably still thinking of Alaki and being like, do you think that they'll help save Knock Knock? Do I think that they'll help save Knock Knock? Do I?
No, no, you don't.
I don't know if the monastery, or not monastery, if Alaki will help save Knock Knock.
How far of a journey is Valaki?
would be about a week by foot, a few days by horses.
Do you have horses or a wagon of such we can use?
I have a coach that we can fix up that you may take, and 2 horses to pull it.
I'm imagining the coach would see at least 6 people, right?
So a coach would normally sit about 4 people on the interior comfortably. Lily could probably squeeze in as a 5th person if you want, though, because she's quite small. 2 people in the driver's box and 2 people on the end of the board. The back of the coach. That's about standard.
We would need more horses, I believe.
So grand total, it would take about 9 people. 9.
We need 8, right?
Yeah, because we have 8 people with Irina.
And totally not heavy people at all that are much larger than normal people.
Well, Lily, I mean, you are much smaller than normal people, so that does help make up.
I am a normal people. What you talk about? I help to counterbalance.
But anyway, yeah, there should be enough room for all of you plus Irina in there if necessary.
Yeah, that'll work. Coach sounds excellent. It should fit us all, plus any provisions we may need for the journey.
Certainly, there's a luggage rack on the top. We can load it up with whatever it is that you're needing. Ismark looks very eager as he realizes that you're going to take him up on the offer. I can pay you, of course. This is not free. The coach will be yours afterward, and I can pay you a good sum of money for this. Yes.
Oh,
Um,
that works well in our favor. We will need to pack food for the journey if it does take a couple days, though.
Yes, of course. I can stock you from the pantry. Mostly, I can always replenish our own stores. Um, yes, I
Yeah,
can.
we're not exactly allowed back in the store.
Oh, oh, he says in confusion.
He just
Like
a
Lucy.
misunderstanding
one of our
was.
party members.
I see.
He's a rational fear of teeth.
I mean, given some of the teeth that lurk around here, I don't see how that's very unnatural of a fear.
I mean, and she just pulls out some teeth from her pocket.
Oh God.
Like this. He's afraid of this. And then she puts them back in her pocket.
What? He looks extremely concerned. Irina reaches up a hand to stifle a snorted laugh.
See, there's no need to be afraid of the teeth. See, you guys are having a normal reaction. He started screaming.
Ismark slowly reaches to his belt and draws out what looks like a small flask. He briskly unscrews the top.
No, not right now. You must wait until we're done.
Oh God.
What?
No drinking right now. Drinking causes bad things to happen. We need to get moving.
Well, we cannot go. I am not going anywhere until father is put to rest, says Irina decisively, crossing her arms. Neither you nor Icemark can convince me of that. He is to be put to rest this evening as is tradition, after which I will go wherever it is you see fit, but I will be there for his burial.
Yes, yes, of course we'll let you bury your father.
As she's saying this, Icemark is sneakily and slowly raising the flask towards his lips, side-eyeing everybody the whole way.
It
Shirley
would
just
give
comes up
us
and is staring at him.
it would give us time to fix the coach. However, my lady, I would recommend using the burial of the prior lord as the perfect time to disappear.
I, wait. Okay.
We'll see what we can do.
I can show you to the coach page. I am sorry. Yes. This way, says Irina. As she makes a motion to Paige, leading her towards the back of the house. She pushes open the double doors that are right across from the ones that you are standing at to reveal a very pretty dining room with a long table and tablecloth that seems to be made of a shimmering purple velvet. And there's a small, what looks like a servant's door just to the right of the fireplace that she motions you towards. Um, Pushing it open and stepping through to the small service hallway that goes to the kitchen. And you see as you're walking through there a young woman who is currently chopping what looks like carrots for a stew. Give a start as Irina and you walk through, her hand going to her chest um, out of reflexive fear and relaxing a bit once she sees that it's Irina, and tensing up once again once she sees that it is not Irina that is just here. And she says, "It's all right, Celia. This is Paige. They are fine. They're coming with me to look at the coach." And she leads you down the back door through what look like a couple of pigs that have met their end fairly recently, perhaps even last night. You're welcome, marm, says the servant. And she shows you to a coach that appears to have recently been thrown over, two of the back wheels broken, and what looks like a dead horse directly next to it.
I knew we needed more horses.
Father was thinking of driving me himself to Vallaki, and we were preparing to leave. The Baron took exception to that. It is why my father is dead. We do have other horses, which I will be more than happy to prepare once the coach is fixed. It will not be a problem. Thank you. I very much appreciate your assistance. I'm sorry to ask this of you, but thank you so much. Irina smiles wanly and gives you a little bow, Paige. Ah, yes, of course I will. I will go and ask her. She is the. Yes, I will go and ask her. And she starts walking back towards the house. In the meantime, while all this has been going on, Ismark has remained in the room with you lot, um, and saying, ah, I do not. I do not know what sort of dangers you may face on the road besides the normal ones, but um, I, I I can offer you. And he turns around to the mantelpiece where it looks like he'd already had a small box prepared, and he picks it up and walks over to present it to Wilhelmina, since that's the one he had spoken with inside the tavern. Um, it is. I can offer you 500 gold to do this for us, and of course the coach as your payment. Just get her there safely.
As you wish, my lord.
Thank you. I I don't suppose you would care to. Well, I can have some breakfast brought for you. I know it is quite early in the morning. If you wish to make use of our libraries or our conservatory to rest and relax until things are. And you hear a knock at the door, and it is Irina again, and she's looking at you, Wilhelmina. Uh, Paige was saying that if you would assist her, repairs of the stagecoach may go quicker.
Yes, of course. I'll be there in just one moment. If you could show me the way.
Yes, certainly. And she leads you back through the same way as as she had led Paige through. And you do see the kitchen maid. She's finished chopping up her carrots, and she is currently spicing the broth. And she's standing on a stool, the pot almost as large as her, as she peers over, less apprehension on her face since you are a normal human looking person to her.
Hello, Miss.
Oh, hello, ma'am. How may I assist you today? Oh,
Um, oh, just passing through. I don't mean to interrupt. To help with the coach as well.
oh, right then, Miss Irina, and she does a little curtsy, wobbling on her stool as she does so. I told you you don't have to do that around Miss Celia. Oh, right, right. And she leads you to the back where Paige is already starting on repairs of the stagecoach, having used her bodily strength to lift it back upright.
Okay. What can I do?
Well, if you guys just want to roll with your tinker's tools, you can do that to see how fast this fixing process is going to go. Because you can definitely fix the stagecoach.
Yeah,
Okay, that's that. And what about you?
I don't know how to tinker.
Okay, so you're gonna just click on the part that says Tinker's Tools. They should be in your proficiencies there on the left side of your sheet.
Yep. Oh. Oh. Ah. Okay.
There you go. Alright, so it is a pretty banged up stagecoach. It appears to have been ripped apart in some places by claw-like hands, and other places have received the loving embrace of almost wolfish teeth, but at an absurdly large size. Yeah, it's gonna take some work. Fortunately, due to your skills and mending, most importantly, you can definitely have it back together in about half a day or so, but it is going to take time as you have to go through each piece and make sure you find all the splinters of the pieces before you can mend them back together. Thank goodness for cantrips.
Okay. Yep.
Alrighty. And meanwhile, back inside the drawing room, Eastmark says, "Yes, if you want food, I have a library. If you wish to peruse, it is quite stocked with books. Um, some of you look like out of towners," and he kind of eyes Lucius with some misgivings. "If you needed history or geography on the area, it would be a great place for you to have a peek, or you can relax in a conservatory with the plants."
I would like to see the library, please.
Certainly, this way. And he leads you back out to the main hallway where you came in, and to the first set of double doors that had been there next to the seating area, where nobles once must have sat to have their grievances heard by the burgomaster himself. And he opens the double doors to reveal a very cozy looking library. Soft couches and rows upon rows of books. There's even a desk for spreading out your reading materials so that you might examine them a little bit better. And there's also a couple of statues and small figurines perched on some of the shelves, including one very large statue of a almost dragon-like creature that sits and holds Harold over top of the bookcases at their highest point.
Lucy, look over here. It's another dragon like you.
Rob?
Yes, hi. Oh, he said that to Lily? Or Lucy? Lucy?
Yes.
Lucy.
Oh, okay. My bad, sorry.
You could also put Knock Knock on the couch.
He will do that.
Thank you.
I
Go
was
ahead.
distracted for a second.
There's a dragon statue. It looks like you almost. Hee hee.
Ah, yes. This is very impressive. Lucius. Yeah. He did not want to move. Lucius will step up and take a look at it.
Go ahead and just Lily, you've rolled a perception check for something.
I'm just looking to see if there's any books that would stand out as helpful. I know about he said something about the area, but if there's anything else that stands out as helpful as well.
Okay.
Who wants to look through and read things?
All right, and Lucius, you go ahead and roll a perception check on Mr. Dragon up there. So Lily, as you look through the different titles of the books, you can see an area that's clearly children's books, like Barovian folk tales. There's some picture books, and then you see on a higher shelf what appears to be a very old, stained copy of Tales of Barovia, which appears to be an anthology of certain local myths and legends, and also another book that says Creatures of the Night, where to find them and how to survive them.
And I take some time and write some of the important things that I think are important into my book to have them for later.
Yes.
Cool.
Alrighty, and Lucius, you notice that this dragon creature appears to be a very intricately carved one, as if somebody has actually physically seen a dragon before in crafting this. And given how everybody's reactions to you usually are, you find it probably a little bit surprising that somebody has actually seen a real dragon before.
Hmm. And where is the burgomaster right now? Because I forget how to pronounce his name.
Eastmark
Eastmark.
Eastmark did show you to this room, but since Grayson appears to have stayed behind in the other one, he probably would have wandered back there to see if there's anything that Grayson wanted or needed while they were waiting
And
for the
Gallon.
evening to
Gallon's
fall.
over there too.
Yeah, and Gallon. He probably would have wandered back over there to see if there was anything that Gallon and Grayson wanted or needed before retiring to his own grief.
Okay.
Grayson will thank him for his hospitality, and that's pretty much it. And then he'll wander over and look at the sword that's on the table.
It is a very pretty looking piece of work too. Go ahead and just roll a quick investigation check for me. Yep, nope, just pretty
Oh,
sword. Shiny.
pretty sword.
Must be polished well.
Um.
And those of you that want to, unless you have questions for Eastmark or Irina, who have kind of taken to going back to the green room quietly, kind of talking amongst themselves. Every once in a while, one of them will break down crying a little bit because they just lost their dad. So they're kind of going through the grieving process right now. Um, uh, unless you guys have more questions for them, you can take this opportunity if you want to take an actual long rest here until the evening when the funeral is scheduled for. Or if you want to wander about and explore the house, Eastmark has nothing to hide and he tells you that it is perfectly alright if you guys want to look around.
Uh. Gallon would like to ask each mark if well, you are correct. We are many of us are strangers in this land. You said the Baron has been visiting your sister on a nightly basis.
Not not every night. It has been going on for the past couple of months. Um, it is usually only one, maybe 2 nights a month, but it is enough. More than enough. Once is too many, in my opinion.
And this Baron, would you claim that he has this sort of omniscient presence?
If you're asking if he is a vampire, he is a vampire. Look at my neck. He
Yeah.
comes in through a window. He walks up a wall to get to my room, says Irina, just becoming a little bit more increasingly frustrated and distraught as she says it.
That much is clear, but maybe I'm just not well versed with vampires. But so far, people make this Baron to seem like he hears and sees all at every hour of the day.
Well, maybe not him personally, but he definitely has plenty of spies who can tell him.
It's just my question is if he stopped you from leaving once, how can is there any way you know that he isn't aware of a second attempt? And if he is, shouldn't we be leaving sooner than later?
Well, for one, there is nowhere between here and Vallaki that we could go that would escape his reach if he truly wished to visit. She makes quotation marks in the air. For two, we can't exactly go anywhere until you finish the coach, and I am not going anywhere until my father is buried with his rights said.
And that's where you said it would be a few days to get there.
With horses, it would be a week if you were on foot, but with horses, it is only a few days.
And would I notice Grayson trying to look over the coffin?
I was looking over the weapons rack that's right here, but Grayson is just going, ooh, shiny, ooh, shiny.
Okay.
Basically, yeah, and there are a lot of shiny weapons on the rack. Some of them look like they might just be display weapons, not worth even the edge that is on them, besides looking beautiful. A couple of them might have seen combat, but you come to the conclusion rather quickly with your brief glance over them that they are made to be beautiful and not so much functional. Same with the armor that you see on racks. It is decorated and definitely not exactly something that one would wear into battle. This is all very decorative pieces. It's a noble's display, not a functional armory.
Yeah. Grayson's just admiring the shiny.
And Irina Irina seems pretty set and stubborn on this. She she doesn't look like she even wants to leave at all, but she's putting her foot down and leaving before her father is buried.
Alright then.
Is reading the books and writing notes considered light activity?
Yes,
Cool. I will be doing that during my long rest.
especially if you take time to read stories to big unconscious Nocturna,
I will do that as well.
because that's just adorable. I'm
Well,
picturing I'm picturing her in front of the fireplace there, just looking through the books and saying, "Hey, Knock Knock, did you know that the vampire bat can suck 50 liters of your blood in 10 seconds?"
That's a handy trick.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how long it stays in the bat.
Gallen's probably going to start exploring after conversing and getting more details on what the trip should entail if they've ever made it before. Probably find somewhere to actually get a rest. He is feeling exhausted.
Grayson will stay with Galen as they explore.
Okay. Well, as you gather that information, you come to understand that you will actually be going right past the road that leads to the Baron's castle as you are moving to Vileki. You will also go past a brief rest stop that Wilhelmina will certainly be familiar with, to Sears Falls. And Lily is over in the library, so she doesn't know about this, but you'll also be passing a windmill on your way to Vilaki, as the route is explained to you.
Windmill. Windmill as in, like, the Morgan lady with the pies?
I am not familiar with the Morgan lady, but there is only one windmill that I know of.
That
And
has a question out of character.
Mhm.
Is that the same windmill that was shown in like all of the Death House pictures?
Maybe.
Okay, cool.
like the windmill on Grayson's uh, shield?
Maybe. In fact, Lily, Wilhelmina, and Paige, you guys also only know of one windmill, although you've never visited or had cause to.
Interesting.
But yeah, as you move through the nicely decorated dining room, you see perhaps the first room that is covered in a thin layer of dust. It appears to be a ballroom, much disused. The statues and couches that line the walls are covered in a thin layer of dust from disuse. You can see swirling patterns in the black marble floor, which in its heyday must have been quite the place to dance. And then there is a piano and a harp that sit disused on a small stage that was probably used for presentations.
Ha!
Grayson, you settle down upon the piano stool, glancing over the keys, stroking the ivories with an almost affectionate hand before raising your own hands up and proceeding to rattle off some truly righteous riffs. What are you playing?
Beethoven's Fifth.
Oh.
1812 is better.
If only you had been playing Coin Operated Boy, it would have been a very topical song, considering one of your party members.
And then some.
But anyway, yeah, you play a truly wonderful rendition of a song that nobody from this world knows. The music fills the air and cascades around the room. And if this had been a happier time, that truly might have been a wonderful performance. But as the last few notes die away, the empty hall seems to swallow them and is plunged into silence and neglect once more.
Grayson gets up from the piano, looks at Galen, who looks like he's still standing at the door, and goes, I didn't know I knew how to play piano."
There seems to be a lot you don't know about yourself.
Yeah, woke up one day, didn't remember who I was. Here I am.
Yeah.
For all I know, I could have a family and a home to go to, but not that I remember. The only thing I do remember is apparently playing piano and killing monsters.
Which is a very interesting point. Do you know how what happened last night happened?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure.
I got angry, I slashed at a pumpkin.
A lot happened last night.
Yes, and apparently we're eating pies full of children. The child is a vampire. Uh, the unconscious one is a changeling, and you speak with shadows. I choose to ignore all this.
You also can speak with shadows and transform into beasts yourself.
Which I didn't know until last night.
Grayson slowly having existential crisis.
Pretty much. He's
If
like,
I hunt monsters and I am monsters, what is this?
He'll also go, I also didn't know until we were inside that house that I can control lightning. It's pretty fascinating.
Oh boy. While this little existential crisis is going on, Agent Wilhelmina, what you up to? Still working on the stagecoach, or?
Yeah, I mean, it's all we can do. We gotta get it done. What can I do to speed it up, if anything?
Well, you already made your rolls for your Tinker's tools, so the pace is about steady. By the time funeral rolls around and is over with, you'll probably be done with the stagecoach as it's starting to become dark. However, as you're working on stagecoach out there, Go ahead and roll me a perception check, you two.
Perception. Perception.
Dang. Good job, Wilhelmina.
I'm multitasking.
Yeah, you're casting your eyes around warily in the mists. All these dead pigs are putting you, ill at ease, so to speak. And that's why you're the first one to notice that there's a shape moving through the mists somewhere just to the north of you around this side of the barn, and it appears to be slowly creeping towards Paige.
Paige, don't make any sudden movements. But there is something just around the bend. You may have to dash.
And as your head click, click, clicks all the way around, you too see the figure, which the mist parts enough just as it darts forward for you to see what it is. It is a rather large silver wolf, and it is lunging towards you, Paige, with purpose. Please make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no.
So the wolf leaps at you, Paige, jaws wide open, but instead of sinking them into your body, it appears to sink them into the cloth of your dress, jerk its head to the left with a loud ripping noise. It has a
Damn
piece
it.
as a piece of cloth, gore stained from all of your escapades in its jaws, and it promptly turns to try to run off. You may make an attack of opportunity.
Oh, I thought it was the new dress. Never mind. That's smart.
Yeah, this town has been hell.
But anyway, yeah, you can choose to make an attack of opportunity if you want to, as it tries to dart away with this piece of cloth. Okay. It's going to be a d20 plus 4. 19. Okay, yeah. So as you click, 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 pop open your jaw to spew the line of acid from your reservoirs, the wolf, seeming to anticipate this sort of attack for some reason, as it looks back over its shoulder at you with one intelligent yellow eye, leaps to the left, avoiding the spew of acid, and promptly darts into the envelope of the mist, vanishing from view.
No worries. It just needed to clothe itself.
And as the mist closes over its fluffy, fluffy tail, that is where we're going to stop for the evening, as Nocturna's eyes on the couch pop open. Okay. Thank you, everybody out there who may have been watching tonight. We greatly appreciate you tuning in for this impromptu episode. Apologies for not being in the mental shape to do this past Sunday. You can catch us tomorrow at about 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Dragons, also maybe dungeons. And on Sunday, possibly for Starfinder, depending on how that goes. So from those of us here at Barovian Nights, good night. And remember,
Night.
death is only forever if you're not in Barovia.
Good old
It is
Night.
wolf
only
boy.
the beginning.
Death
Good
is
old,
only the beginning of dying.
good
Bye.
old wolf boy. Bye bye.